They fined me for building a roof that could save lives, said it didn't match the community aesthetic. Told me my angles were too aggressive. Safety was less important than symmetry, and that I should just blend in like everyone else. But let me tell you, once you've seen what 5 tons of wet Colorado snow can do to a house that wasn't built to fight back, you don't care about blending in anymore. You care about keeping your family off the front page. You never forget the sound of a roof giving way. It's not a snap, not a boom, more like a slow, heavy sigh, like the house itself is giving up. I heard it first 10 years back. 2 valleys over, a family of 4 buried in their sleep. Only the father crawled out. And those blurry newspaper photos of the 2 little girls, ages like the daughters I didn't even have yet, seared themselves into my memory and just stayed there, like a burn you can't scrub off. So when Amanda and I bought our place on the edge of Golden Timber Estates 8 years ago, I had just one deal breaker for the builder: a roof gets done my way, or the deal's off. Didn't care what the neighborhood looked like. 22 years in the Army Corps of Engineers, most of them spent in places where the only thing between you and forever was the roof you built. Does that to a man. I'm not an architect, but I know a thing or two about not dying under a pile of snow. Sketched out the plan: Meisel 43-degree pitch, standing seam metal in a silver that wouldn't glare, trusses that could take double the county max, snow guards to keep those lethal slabs from killing someone. The builder raised an eyebrow. HOA might have something to say about that, but I just stared him down and said, my family's safety isn't up for a neighborhood vote. First few years, not a problem. In fact, the neighbors were kind of impressed when the first real snow hit and my roof let go in these long, quiet sheet shush, shush like curtains falling, landing well away from the foundation, while everybody else's gutters groaned and ice dams formed. Mine just hummed along. Greg Hastings next door even clapped me on the back, said it was a smart move. He might copy me someday. Then came the spring of the red coat. Karen Delaney, new HOA president, marches up my driveway in a cherry red blazer, sunglasses perched like armor, clipboard in hand, and a look that said she hadn't come to drop off muffins. Inconsistencies, she said, waving vaguely at my roof like it was a stain on her living room carpet. The CC and RS are quite clear. Mr. Weller. Visual uniformity. Pitch and material deviate from the community's approved palette. We've had comments. I leaned on my shovel and told her, in the same calm I used to wear at pre-mission briefings, that the CC and RS don't mention snow load engineering or blizzard survival. Ma'am, this roof is designed to keep my daughters alive. She just tapped her pen against her clipboard. Click, 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 as if starting a countdown. County codes aren't our concern. Community standards are. 2 weeks later comes the first certified lettera thick envelope that weighed more than any paper should. Violation notice. 30 days to submit a redesign plan. $500 fine, just the opening shot. Amanda read it over my shoulder, saw the grainy photos they'd taken from across the street, and whispered, is this going to turn into a fight? I looked out at Molly and Lucy, 4 and 6, noses pressed to the glass, giggling as the snow slid off our roof. And I knew right then I'd burn every bridge before I let someone with a clipboard tell me how to keep my kids safe. Turn the garage into a war room. Blueprints everywhere. Corners weighted with old brass shell casings. County permits lined up like ammunition. Kept at daily log temps. Snowfall. Attic humidity, treated it like a deployment because the enemy wasn't facts. It was obedience. Karen's next letter threatened force corrective action at my expense, which is HOA code for, we'll send men with crowbars to tear down your shield while you watch. And then the chill hit. Not just the weather. June Holstead, who used to swap recipes with Amanda, started avoiding us. Greg, the guy who'd called me smart, shoveled with his back turned. Even the girls felt it. Lucy came home one day, lip trembling, because a kid said her daddy was being mean to the neighborhood. Broke my heart. So I scooped her up and told her, this roof is a slide for the snow, so the house never has to carry too much. Does it protect us, Daddy? She asked, eyes big and worried. Exactly, I said. And that was the day I stopped caring about being liked and started caring about being right. I didn't know the storm of the century was coming or that Karen would sue me personally to bypass the county review board. But as I watched the silver panels catch the moonlight, I felt something settle in my heart as steel. They wanted harmony. But when the sky turns white and the wind screams, pretty shingles won't keep your kids safe. The legal battle got ugly. It was like living in a pressure cooker. Karen sued, claimed my roof was single-handedly lowering every property value in the place. The mailbox became a delivery system for spied anonymous notes, highlighted bylaws, even a real estate flyer under my wiper, circled with "Move while you still can." Amanda tried to stay strong, but I saw her hands shake. The gray SUV with blacked-out windows parked near the school bus stop. Always watching. Eyes we never saw. Always judging. And then, Friday night, it all blew up. I was helping Molly with spelling when Amanda gasped someone had sprayed "Conform or Leave" in cherry red across our garage door, dripping like blood. Lucy started crying. Amanda started packing. And that night, I watched my girls drive away just for a while. Amanda said taillights disappearing into the dusk. I stayed behind, scrubbing hate off the garage, repainting until my hands went numb, while the Weather Channel flashed polar vortex in angry red. The storm rolled in 3 days later, the worst the valley had seen in decades. While everyone else whispered about my roof, I was checking the generator, reinforcing the chicken coop, getting ready for a siege. Karen's last move? A cease and desist, ordering me to stop defensive modifications. I tucked it in the binder next to the photos of the graffiti. When the snow hit, it came heavy and fast. World turned white in hours. By midnight, the power grid surrendered. My generator kicked in, and every hour my roof wished another 500 pounds of snow sliding harmlessly to the yard. But then 3 in the morning I heard it, crack. Not my house. Checked the security feed. Dalton's deck collapsed under a 6-foot drift. 10 minutes later, McCaffrey's gutter ripped off in a slow-motion avalanche. I pulled on my parka, goggles, gloves, stepped out into chaos. Drifts waist-high, wind clawing at my face. Then I heard a cry thin, desperate, coming from Karen Delaney's driveway. She was kneeling in the snow, plastic toy shovel in hand, digging at her garage while the awning above sagged dangerously. Her luxury SUV crushed under a mountain of snow. Her lips blue, her voice barely a whisper. "Garrett, the awning's going. My house is groaning. Please." Her roof shallow pitch, pretty but deadly, was about to give. I had every reason to turn away. Let karma handle it. But I saw those 2 little girls in my mind, the ones from 10 years ago, and I knew being right means nothing if you let someone die to prove a point. So I handed Karen my heavy aluminum shovel, told her to stand clear, and spent 4 hours on a ladder in a blizzard raking snow off her roof. Every slab that let go made the house shudder. But finally, the danger passed. Didn't say a word. Just moved to the next house, Greg's place, leaking in 3 rooms. Then June's sunroom already shattered. By the time emergency crews arrived, I was half frozen. But my roof stood tall, pristine, while the rest of the street looked like a war zone. The fire lieutenant looked up at my roof and just said, "Wish more people had been difficult like you, soldier." Morning came, harsh Colorado sun bouncing off the snow like a billion mirrors. Golden timber estates looked like a graveyard. Orange caution tape fluttering. Chainsaws in the distance. But my house, me eyesore, stood like a silver crown. First up my driveway was Greg. He looked years older. Eyes raw. He said, "I voted against you." Man, I was scared. Did what was easy. Now my son's sleeping in the living room because his ceiling's in the closet. I just felt tired. Empathy. Fear doesn't hold up 5 tons of snow. "Greg," I said, "come on. Let's see if we can patch that hole." Word spread. McCaffrey's left a note. "We were wrong. Thank you." June sent lasagna and asked if I'd look over her rebuild. By noon, neighbors were finally looking up and not liking what they saw. That evening, Karen knocked on my door. No red blazer, just a giant coat, eyes hollow. She handed me a resignation letter done as HOA president. "They're blaming me," she said, "for the rules. For everything. I thought I was protecting the community." "You were protecting a picture," I told her. I was protecting the people inside. She nodded, walked away, moved out 3 weeks later. Amanda and the girls came home that Sunday. The way they screamed, "Daddy, save the house." Well, that's the only stamp I needed. Life didn't go back to normal. We changed normal. Greg took over as interim president. First meeting, no clipboards. No talk of pallets, just 3 hours on pitch angles. Truss spacing. And the Weller standard for snow. The uniformity clause? Struck down. Replaced by a new rule: no aesthetic regulation shall ever supersede safety or human life. I spent the next year helping rebuild roofs for free. Now, if you drive through Golden Timber, it's a patchwork silver, charcoal, green steep roofs, snow guards, scars, and stories. It doesn't look like a catalog. It looks like people who learned that being a good neighbor means looking out for each other, not just making sure your shingles match. That evidence binder? Still in the safe. Last page is a photo of Lucy's drawing big silver roof. Stick figure family. The strongest house in the world, written in crayon. Sometimes the world tells you to stay small. Stay quiet. Follow rules even when they're broken. But sometimes breaking those rules is the only thing that keeps the world from falling in on you. So here's the question: was I the hero for standing my ground? Or just a stubborn neighbor who got lucky with a storm? Have you ever had an HOA put pretty before safe? And honestly, if someone spent months trying to destroy you, would you climb that ladder to save them? Drop your stories in the comments. Let's talk about where the line really lies between community and control.
By not clearing this common area.
I am not discussing this with you again. Get off my property!
You see through